The lawyer's voice was calm on the other end of the line. Too calm. Mr. Harmon, your daughter has requested that we initiate eviction proceedings. You have 30 days to vacate the property. I stood in the kitchen I'd built with my own hands. The same kitchen where I'd taught Emma to make pancakes. Where we'd celebrated every birthday, every small victory after her mother died. This is my house, I said quietly. Actually, sir, as of 3 days ago, the deed transferred to Miss Emma Harmon. The estate settlement is complete. I hung up. 3 days ago, Emma had hugged me at the lawyer's office. She'd cried. Said she couldn't believe Grandpa Arthur left her everything. The house, the investments, the cash. $33 million. We'll figure this out together, Dad, she'd whispered. 48 hours later, her boyfriend Marcus moved in. Not asked. Announced. Now this. I'd raised Emma alone since she was 6. 16 years of every soccer game, every late-night emergency, every scraped knee and broken heart. I'd worked doubles at the plant to keep her in good schools. Delayed my own retirement. Used my inheritance from my parents to pay for her college. Full ride, no loans. She knew I'd planned to retire in this house. The house my father built. The house where 3 generations had lived. My phone buzzed. Emma, Dad, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Marcus and I need space to start our life. You'll be fine. No call. A text. I walked upstairs to my father's old study. Everything was exactly as he'd left it when he passed last month. The mahogany desk. The filing cabinets. The wall safe behind the painting of the lake house. Arthur Harmon had been a careful man. Methodical. He'd been a patent attorney for 40 years, and he taught me something important. Never assume people will do the right thing. Plan for the opposite. I opened the safe. Inside were the documents I'd helped him organize 3 months before his death, when he was still sharp, still himself. The will everyone saw at the reading. And the one he'd made me promise to keep quiet about. I sat down and read them both again. Slowly. Then I checked the dates. The signatures. The witness names. My hands were steady, but my chest felt tight. Arthur had been specific. Paranoid, even. He'd made me executor of a trust no one knew about. A trust that controlled the real assets. The will that gave Emma everything? It had a clause. A test. If the inheritor attempts to remove the executor from the family home within 6 months of my death, all assets revert to the secondary trust, and the executor gains full control. I read it 3 times. Emma didn't know this existed. The lawyer at the reading, he was new, hired by Marcus's family firm. They'd pushed Arthur to update his estate plan 6 months ago when his memory started slipping. But Arthur had been smarter than they thought. I pulled out my phone and photographed every page. Then I called a number I hadn't used in years. Davidson & Cole, how can I help you? I need to speak with Margaret Cole. Tell her it's Richard Harmon, Arthur's son. Margaret had been my father's colleague for 30 years. She'd retired, but she'd also been the witness on the real documents. Richard. Her voice was warm. I was wondering when you'd call. You knew? Your father told me what he was doing. He didn't trust the new lawyer. Said something felt wrong about how much Marcus was suddenly involved in Emma's life. I closed my eyes. He made a contingency. He made several, Margaret said. And Richard? You need to read page 9 of the trust document. The addendum. I flipped to page 9. My father's handwriting. Dated 2 weeks before he died. If Emma chooses greed over family, she will learn what I learned. Money reveals who people really are. Protect yourself, Richard. Don't let her see this coming. I heard footsteps downstairs. Emma's voice. Marcus laughing. Mr. Harmon? Margaret's voice pulled me back. Do you want me to file the paperwork? I listened to them downstairs. Opening cabinets. Talking about renovations. About their house. Not yet, I said. Give me 72 hours. I needed to be sure. Because if I was wrong, if this was just a mistake, just Marcus's influence, I'd lose my daughter forever. But if I was right. I heard glass breaking downstairs. Emma's voice, sharp, just throw that old stuff out. We're redecorating. The sound of my father's picture frames hitting the trash. I opened my laptop and started a new folder. Evidence. I moved out on day 12. Didn't argue. Didn't fight. Just packed my clothes, my father's documents, and the things that mattered. Emma watched from the doorway of her master bedroom, arms crossed. You're being dramatic, she said. I looked at her. Really looked. Searching for the girl who used to leave me notes in my lunchbox. The teenager who'd sobbed in my arms when she didn't get into her first-choice college, then worked twice as hard to prove herself. I didn't see her anymore. I hope you're happy, Emma. I will be, she said. Once you stop guilting me. Marcus appeared behind her, hand on her shoulder. Possessive. He didn't even look at me. I drove to her extended stay hotel near the highway. Small room. Clean. Quiet. Then I went to work. The storage unit I'd rented was climate controlled. Inside were 12 boxes from my father's study, the ones I'd removed before Emma and Marcus started redecorating. Financial records. Letters. Email printouts. And recordings. My father had installed a voice-activated system in his study 6 months before he died. He'd told me it was for his memoirs, but now I understood. He'd been documenting everything. I plugged in the hard drive and started listening. Recording dated September 3rd. Marcus's voice just needs to be worded carefully. If Richard is listed as co-beneficiary, it complicates things. A woman's voice I didn't recognize, the new will removes him entirely. Emma inherits everything. Clean transfer. Emma, but Dad helped take care of Grandpa. Shouldn't he get something? Marcus, baby, your grandfather wants you to have this. Your dad's still young. He can work. Silence. Then Emma, okay. If that's what Grandpa wants. But it wasn't what Grandpa wanted. The date on this recording was 2 weeks after Arthur's dementia diagnosis. 3 weeks before he secretly met with Margaret and created the real trust. I kept listening. Recording dated October 18th. Marcus, once the house is ours, we flip it. Market's hot. Should clear 2 million easy. Emma, Marcus, Dad lives there. He can rent somewhere. Emma, this is $33 million. You can't let guilt make you poor. I heard my daughter laugh. Uncertain, but agreeing. You're right. I need to think bigger. My hands were shaking now. Recording dated November 29th, 4 days before Arthur died. The woman's voice again. Mr. Harmon, we need you to sign the updated power of attorney. Emma will be able to manage everything if you become incapacitated. My father's voice, slow and confused. Where's Richard? He's busy with work, Dad, Emma said softly. I'm here. I'll take care of everything. I don't remember this. Marcus, it's okay, Arthur. You're just tired. Sign here. The sound of paper sliding across the desk. Then my father, something's wrong. This isn't. Margaret said. Emma, Grandpa, please. You're getting confused again. Just sign. A long pause. Then the scratch of a pen. I stopped the recording. My father had signed documents while impaired. While being manipulated. And Emma had been there. Not protecting him. Helping them. I sat in that storage unit for 20 minutes, staring at nothing. Then I made 3 calls. First, to Margaret Cole. I need you to file a challenge to the will. Undue influence. I have recordings. Second, to a forensic accountant my father had mentioned in his notes. I need a full audit of financial transactions starting 6 months ago. Third, to Detective Sarah Chen, an old friend from high school who now worked financial crimes. I need advice. Off the record. She met me at a diner 2 hours later. I showed her everything. The recordings. The timeline. The transfers that started the day after Arthur signed the power of attorney. Money moving from his accounts to ones I didn't recognize. Sarah's face went hard. Richard, this isn't just inheritance drama. If they coerced him while he was impaired, if they moved money before he died. She tapped the financial statements. This could be elder exploitation. Possibly fraud. Can you investigate? I can't officially do anything without a complaint. But if you file with Adult Protective Services and the probate court. She slid a business card across the table. This is the APS investigator who handles these cases. She's good. Tell her I sent you. I took the card. Richard. Sarah's voice was gentle now. I'm sorry. I know she's your daughter. So did she, I said. I filed the complaints the next morning. All of them. Probate court challenge. APS report. Request for forensic audit. The attorney Margaret recommended was a specialist in elder law. Her name was Patricia Vance, and she'd seen cases like this before. The recordings are strong, she said. Especially if we can prove your father wasn't competent to sign. Do you have medical records? I handed her the neurologist's report from September. Clear documentation of advancing dementia. Recommendations that Arthur not make major decisions without oversight. Patricia smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. They're going to argue he had good days and bad days. That he was lucid when he signed. He had recordings of his own sessions with the neurologist, I said. Dated. Time-stamped. He couldn't remember my name half the time. Then we have a case. The paperwork was filed Friday afternoon. By Monday morning, Emma's lawyer called me. Mr. Harmon, these accusations are serious and unfounded. We're prepared to pursue defamation. Tell Emma to check her accounts, I said, and hung up. Because the forensic accountant had found something interesting. Transfers totaling $4.7 million had been moved out of Arthur's accounts 2 weeks before he died. Moved into an LLC registered to Marcus's cousin. The money was supposed to be invisible. But my father had flagged the transactions before his death. Left notes. Created a trail. My phone rang 30 seconds later. Emma. I let it go to voicemail. Then I listened. Dad, what the hell are you doing? Our lawyer says you're trying to contest the will, that you're accusing us of. Dad, this is insane. Call me back. Now. Not scared yet. Just angry. I texted back one sentence. Check the probate court filings. All of them. Then I turned off my phone. I knew what was coming next. The silence lasted 6 days. No calls. No texts. No contact. I spent that time in the hotel room, working with Patricia and the forensic accountant. We built the case piece by piece. Every transaction. Every recording. Every medical document that proved my father wasn't capable of consent. On day 7, the bank froze Emma's accounts. Court order. Pending investigation into the transfers. $33 million, locked down. My phone exploded at 6:47 a.m. 17 missed calls. Dozens of texts. Emma, Dad, please call me. Emma, this is a mistake. Emma, we can fix this. Emma, I didn't know. Emma, Marcus said it was legal. Emma, Dad, I can't access anything. Emma, they're saying fraud. Emma, Dad, please. I didn't respond. Patricia had been clear, no contact. Anything you say can be used against the case. Let the system work. The system worked fast. APS opened a full investigation. The DA's office got involved. Financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult is a felony in our state. The forensic accountant traced the LLC payments to Marcus's family members, to cash withdrawals, to purchases made while my father was dying. A $90,000 car. Bought 3 days before Arthur passed. Jewelry. A boat. Cryptocurrency investments. They'd been spending his money like it was already theirs. On day 9, Marcus was arrested. Wire fraud. Forgery. Elder financial abuse. His lawyer got him out on bail in 6 hours, but the damage was done. The news picked it up. Local attorney's grandson arrested for defrauding dying millionaire. Emma wasn't charged. Not yet. But the DA made it clear, she was a person of interest. Patricia called me that afternoon. The will contest hearing is scheduled for Friday. The judge wants to hear arguments about Arthur's mental capacity. Are you ready? I'm ready. Richard. Emma's attorney is going to argue that you're doing this out of spite. That you're angry about being disinherited. They'll make you look bitter. Let them, I said. I have the recordings. Friday came. The courtroom was small. Just the judge, the attorneys, a court reporter. And Emma. She sat across the aisle with her lawyer. She'd lost weight. Her eyes were red. She looked at me once, desperate, and I looked away. The judge reviewed the evidence first. Medical records showing Arthur's dementia. The timeline of the will changes. The recordings. When my father's voice played, confused, asking for me, being told to just sign, Emma started crying. The judge's expression didn't change. Emma's attorney stood. Your Honor, Mr. Richard Harmon is a disgruntled son who expected to inherit and is now weaponizing his father's medical condition to overturn a legitimate will. Emma Harmon loved her grandfather. She cared for him in his final months. Patricia interrupted. The defendant wasn't caring for him. She was isolated from him by Marcus Webb and his associates. We have testimony from the nursing staff, from neighbors, from Arthur's own physician that Richard was the primary caregiver until he was systematically excluded. She submitted the statements. The neighbor who'd seen Marcus coaching Emma on what to say to the lawyers. The nurse who'd reported being told not to let me visit during business hours. My father's doctor, who'd noted in his records, patient repeatedly asks for son Richard. Family member present, Emma, deflects. The judge read in silence for 10 minutes. Then, I'm invalidating the November will. The evidence clearly shows Mr. Arthur Harmon was not of sound mind to execute a will, and there are substantial questions about undue influence. Emma's lawyer stood. Your Honor, would like to request. I'm not finished. The judge looked at Emma now. Miss Harmon, you are not being charged criminally at this time, but that may change pending the ongoing investigation. The estate will revert to the previous valid will, dated 18 months ago. Patricia handed me a folder under the table. I knew what was in it. The will from 18 months ago, before the dementia, before Marcus, left everything to a trust. With me as executor and Emma as beneficiary, contingent on certain conditions. Conditions Arthur had written himself. The judge continued. The trust structure means Miss Harmon will receive a monthly stipend until age 35, at which point the full estate transfers to her, provided she has demonstrated financial responsibility and has maintained a relationship with family. Emma's face went white. The house reverts to Richard Harmon. The liquid assets will be managed by the appointed trustee, Margaret Cole, until such time as the conditions are satisfied. Your Honor, Emma's attorney tried again. The fraudulent transfers are a separate criminal matter. This court has no jurisdiction there. But I am ordering full restitution of any funds improperly transferred, plus penalties. The judge looked directly at Emma. You were a beneficiary to theft, Miss Harmon. Even if you didn't initiate it. The gavel came down. Emma stood, shaking. She looked at me. Dad. I walked past her. Outside the courthouse, Patricia stopped me on the steps. The DA wants to talk to Emma. They're offering a deal, full cooperation against Marcus and his family in exchange for immunity. Will she take it? If she's smart. Patricia paused. Richard, she's going to lose everything if she doesn't cooperate. The house is yours. The money is locked in trust. She'll get $3,000 a month until she's 35. That's it. I know. That's what Arthur wanted. I nodded. He wanted her to learn. To grow up. He saw what was happening before any of us did. My phone buzzed. Emma, can we talk? Please? I looked at the message for a long time. Then I turned my phone off and drove back to my father's house. The locks had been changed per court order. I was the only one with keys now. Inside, the house was a disaster. Emma and Marcus had ripped out half the renovations, left trash everywhere, torn down family photos. I stood in the kitchen and felt nothing. Then I went upstairs to my father's study. The wall safe was open. Empty. But that was fine. Everything that mattered was already in the storage unit. Already submitted to the court. I sat down at his desk and found an envelope with my name on it, tucked in the drawer. My father's handwriting. Richard. If you're reading this, it means I was right. I'm sorry. I hoped I was wrong about Emma. But you raised a smart girl, and smart people can be manipulated by the wrong influences. I don't blame her entirely. I blame myself for not protecting my assets sooner. The trust isn't punishment. It's protection. When she's older, when she's away from people like Marcus, she'll understand. Take care of the house. It's yours now. It was always meant to be yours. And Richard, don't let anger consume you. I didn't build this life so you could spend it being bitter. Forgive her when she's ready to be forgiven. Dad. I folded the letter carefully. Then I heard a car in the driveway. Emma sat in her car for 5 minutes before getting out. I watched from the kitchen window. She looked small. Exhausted. When she finally walked to the door, she knocked. Knocked on the door of the house she tried to steal. I opened it. Hi, Dad. Her voice cracked on the word. I didn't invite her in. Just stood there. The DA called, she said. They want me to testify against Marcus. Against his whole family. Are you going to? I don't know. She looked past me, into the house. Can we talk? I stepped aside. She walked in slowly, like she was seeing it for the first time. The photos I'd put back up. The furniture restored to where my father had kept it. The kitchen table where we'd eaten 1,000 meals. You fixed it, she whispered. I put it back the way it was. She sat down at the table without asking. I stayed standing. Dad, I didn't know. About the transfers. About Marcus moving Grandpa's money. I swear I didn't know it was illegal. But you knew it was wrong. Silence. You heard the recordings, I said quietly. You were there when they pressured him to sign. When he was confused and asking for me. You were there, Emma. He said it was normal. That grandparents do this all the time. He was dying. He had dementia. And you chose Marcus over your own grandfather. Her face crumpled. I know. You chose Marcus over me. I know. Tears now, real ones. Dad, I'm so sorry. I got caught up in the money, in Marcus telling me we deserved it, that you'd be fine. I would have been fine, I interrupted. I didn't need the money, Emma. I needed my daughter. She sobbed into her hands. I sat down across from her. Not close. The distance felt necessary. What does the DA want? I asked. Everything. Testimony about how Marcus planned it. How his cousin set up the LLC. How they coached me on what to say to Grandpa's doctors. She looked up, mascara streaking her face. If I cooperate, I get immunity. If I don't, you go to prison. She nodded. What do you want me to say, Emma? That you should protect the man who used you to steal from your dying grandfather? No. Her voice was small. I want you to tell me I'm not a monster. I looked at her for a long time. My daughter. The girl I'd raised alone. The girl who'd been kind and smart and thoughtful before Marcus came along. You made terrible choices, I said. You let someone manipulate you into hurting people you loved. You chose money over family. She flinched. But you're not a monster. You're 22 years old, and you got involved with someone who saw you as a meal ticket. I leaned forward. The question is, who are you going to be now? I don't know. Then figure it out. Cooperate with the DA. Tell the truth. All of it. And then what? I lose everything. The money's locked up until I'm 35. I can't even afford an apartment on $3,000 a month. You'll get a job. She stared at me. Like everyone else, I continued. You have a college degree. No student loans, because I paid for it. You're young and healthy. You'll work. You'll budget. You'll learn what money actually means. Dad. That's what your grandfather wanted. That's why he set up the trust that way. Not to punish you. To teach you. She was crying again, but quieter now. I ruined everything. Yes. I threw you out of your own house. Yes. I chose a man I barely knew over my own father. Yes. She looked at me, broken. Can you ever forgive me? I thought about my father's letter. Forgive her when she's ready to be forgiven. I don't know yet, I said honestly. But I want to. That seemed to hurt more than anything else I'd said. What do I do now? You cooperate with the DA. You testify. You make sure Marcus and everyone who used you faces consequences. I stood up. And then you start over. You get a job. You find your own place. You figure out who Emma is when she's not being told what to think. Will you help me? I'm not giving you money. I don't want money. Her voice was desperate. I want my dad back. I walked to the counter and poured 2 cups of coffee. Set one in front of her. Then earn it. Emma testified 3 months later. The trial lasted 2 weeks. She told everything. How Marcus had isolated her from me, how he'd convinced her that my father wanted her to have everything, how she'd watched him forge documents and said nothing. Marcus got 8 years. His cousin got 6. The lawyer who'd helped them got disbarred in 18 months. The money was returned to the estate. All of it. Emma wasn't charged. She moved into a studio apartment in the city. Got a job at a nonprofit. Made $38,000 a year. We talked once a week. Short calls. Careful. She didn't ask for money. I didn't offer. 6 months after the trial, she called on a Saturday morning. Dad? I'm at the grocery store and my card declined. I thought I had enough budgeted but I forgot about the electric bill and, she stopped. Never mind. I'll put some things back. Emma. I'm not asking for money. I just needed to tell someone. It's embarrassing. What did you forget to buy? Just, protein stuff. I'll make rice and beans work. I closed my eyes. Text me your grocery list. Dad, no. Text me the list. I'll Venmo you $50. This one time. Silence. Thank you. Her voice was shaky. I'll pay you back. I know you will. She did. 2 weeks later. Exactly $50 with a note. Grocery debt paid. Thank you. It became a rhythm. She'd call with questions: how to fix a leaky faucet, how to negotiate a raise, how to meal prep on a budget. Things I'd taught her once, when she was younger. Things she'd forgotten when money made everything easy. 1 year after the trial, she showed up at the house on Sunday morning. I brought bagels, she said. And coffee. The good kind. I let her in. We ate at the kitchen table. Talked about her job, about the garden I was planting, about small things. She didn't ask about the trust. Didn't mention the money. As she was leaving, she stopped at the door. I'm sorry I took so long to grow up. You're doing it now. That's what matters. Do you forgive me yet? I looked at my daughter. Really looked. She was thinner. Tired. But her eyes were clear. Honest. I'm getting there, I said. She nodded. That's fair. After she left, I went to my father's study. Opened the drawer where I kept his letter. Read it again. Forgive her when she's ready to be forgiven. I thought she was getting close. 2 years after everything fell apart, Emma called me on a Tuesday evening. Dad? Are you busy? Never too busy. What's up? I got promoted. Program director. It comes with a salary bump. Emma, that's wonderful. Yeah. She paused. I wanted you to know. And I wanted to say thank you. For what? For not giving up on me. For letting me figure it out. For not just handing me money when I screwed up. Her voice was steady. Strong. I hated you for it at first. But you were right. I needed to do this myself. I sat down, throat tight. I'm proud of you. She was quiet for a moment. Then, can I come over Sunday? I want to help with the garden. I'd like that. Love you, Dad. Love you too, sweetheart. After we hung up, I walked outside. The evening was cool, quiet. My father's house stood solid behind me. The garden was growing. Everything was exactly where it should be. I thought about the letter Emma had thrown away when she first moved in. The picture frames she'd broken. They were all back now. Restored. Some things take time to heal. But they do heal. I sat on the porch steps and watched the sun go down, and for the first time in 2 years, I felt something close to peace. My daughter had found her way back. Not because I'd made it easy, but because I'd made it right.